Hello, welcome back to Actual Play Burning Wheel Into the Vaults. Uh, yes, so over break, I had two funny and apropos things happen. The first one was I was talking to my wife, Karen, and she's like, "What happened?" Because, during break, she often asks me what goes on. And she's very kind and she asks me what happens in my games, which is generally speaking nothing anybody ever cares about. And I'm telling her all this stuff, and she's like, "You're Prince now? What?" And I'm telling her all this stuff. And I'm just telling her about this thing. And she's like, "Sean, a spider." I'm like, "Yeah, yes, giant spider, big as so much." She's like, "No, there's a spider right above your head." I'm like, "Oh." So that was very funny. So I helped a little spider friend that was coming out of it was in a very bad space for it to be. If it was at a corner, we would just left alone, but it was right it was hanging from the light in our kitchen, and it we're gonna walk under it a million times. So I gave it a new home. It's now outside. Love and life in the woods. So that was the first funny thing. And the second thing that she said, which I also just felt was very appropriate to this, was she said, this is a dad joke, and a friend goes, there's a friend somebody passes away, and this guy goes to the funeral, and he goes to the family, and he says, "Would it be okay if I said a word?" And they say, "Oh, of course." And he goes up to the podium and he says, "Bargain." And the family says, "Thanks. That means a great deal." It's a very dad joke, but it just felt with all these riches.
Yes.
Or the alternate to that joke is plethora, and then they say, "Thanks. That means a lot." Very, very bad. Very, very dad joke. But again, things wonders that are shared with me, and I'm just, here I go, giving them to all of you.
Yeah.
You got that one for me.
Got it.
Yeah. So we're jumping to Prince Bulat and the family returning.
I think you found a bunch of Venera's old clothes, right? Because you've got to have finery.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right. We didn't know
and so and the orcs have come out of the tunnel, and are they around? Do you keep them around in the vault when
the trolls, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I don't
Cool.
want to have them greet everybody necessarily, because I don't want violence to ensue, but
Yeah.
I definitely have them present. Yeah, I mean, and this is going to be some time has passed, right? This has been what is it, a month to go there and back?
Do you want to say that? Do you want to say it's a month?
It's a month, yeah. I'm gonna
do some training.
I'm gonna put that in my practice log, yeah, because I just wonder if there's anything I could unlock that would be useful in that time.
And do you want to take maybe do a teach test to try to teach the troll mother some ancient languages?
That is perfect. Absolutely. Yes, that was one of my big things, and it's going to take some time. And I think instruction takes 10 days minus my will plus 10 days minus her will or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's and I can't do anything else. I can't practice, but I can do instruction. So my will is 6, so it's 4 days. What's her will?
3, so it's 7 days.
7 days. So it's 11 days per instruction I can give her. So that's
okay.
I could try and give her 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ob, let's look at instruction. It's a special
yeah, I mean, I think it's ob 1 doubled to 2, right? You're just trying to give her some kind of a test.
Right, but I think that there's modifiers, unfortunately, for academic skills. Let me see. Maybe not. Maybe I'm, because I am just trying to give her beginner's luck. So maybe I'm overthinking this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just ob 1 tests you're going for, so it's just 2.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's add instruction. I think instruction is will based, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Modifiers, no modifiers, no Artha. All right, first one succeeds.
Nice. Cool. What does that look like? How do you teach her? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think it's, I think it's we're up in the vault. We don't have to tiptoe
Right.
we don't have to tiptoe around Venera anymore. So like we can just like pull out books, and she doesn't know how to read, but I'm like showing her symbols, and I think we probably tasked some of the other trolls to like remove Venera's body, so we don't have a corpse here. Probably we're gonna do something cool with her scales or horns or whatnot, but I think I'm gonna figure that out later, right? You always do cool stuff with dragon bits, right?
Yeah.
But I do think I want to honor her, not like deface her. I don't want to put her here in a I know. So we'll figure that out. But I think the rest of the trolls are kind of like keep the passages safe. And I'm like watching them as they do that, like patrolling to like make sure that the orcs don't try and raid the place, and or the dwarves, the iron gods don't try to raid the place. I mean, I don't think anyone will, but and close stuff up. And so we're sitting in the vault, and like we're practicing the language. And I think I don't want like the Sean, like my desire, Sean, like not to be like culturally appropriating even this fictitious culture, is that like I think I'm saying this is what I've read, but I don't know what the context for it is. Like what do you know, and like how does this resonate for you, and things like that. So it's like teaching her, but really trying to figure out like what the true meaning of it is. Like, well, this is what I read, but what does it mean? And getting that from her.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and do you want me to make a couple more of those, or should we call one test good and then we? Technically, time-wise, I have more time, but I also could imagine there's time spent just like preparing the space.
I mean, well, I feel like we know what it looks like, right? So just make 2 more rolls. Let's just see how many tests we get her.
Yeah, awesome. That's another one. There we go. Hit all 3 of them.
Awesome. I mean, I think you realize that this is not how she learns best, right? So it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And I refuse to say she's stupid, because she is not, and that's not how brains work. But it just takes her a long time, and she really has to puzzle it out. But she is very steadfast, and she will like stare at a book for hours. Like she's willing to take that time to do it, where you think a lot of other people would probably give up. Right.
And I think that we have like a massive disadvantage that like her language was recorded as it was heard by the dwarves.
Right.
Like, so it's not like I don't have a perfect recollection, and I imagine that their language is an oral thing. So it's like we're trying to piece out an oral like an oral history out of a written history back to an oral history, right? Like I think this is a really hard thing to do. I don't think that us spending a month and not quite getting it, that totally makes sense. Like we could spend years doing this, right? Like
yeah.
So I love the idea that like it's not easy, but it's just immediately learn it immediately. But it's like so much work to piece together.
Right.
I think we probably have got a few words though, right? Like there's got to be a few things that we've.
Yep. You're piecing it together, and I think Limper comes back in and says one of the surface trolls thought he heard something in the tunnels, but it turned out to be nothing. They don't know the tunnels that well, and like he's reporting to you, right? And I think that's when Hirtho like steps out of the shadows, and like he's got a crossbow, arrow, bolt pointed down, and he says, "They're reporting to you."
The crossbow is, you said it's pointed down, right?
It's in a safe position. His finger's off the trigger. He's got good trigger discipline.
Yeah. And I look and I'm just like, it's been a year since I've seen your face. You look
And
good.
yeah, I think he does look good. I think he looks a little tauter and in better shape. And I think the other thing you notice is that he has a braid in his beard. That means he has a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
My son, a gray beard. You made me very happy.
Let me
And I and
let me
I
get my yeah, I think he hugs you. Like he puts down the crossbow and he
yeah,
gives you a big hug. And then he lets go and says, let me get my men. They're in the tunnels and I don't want to fight to break out."
good thinking. I say this is uh oof, let's I know all their names, but we've only given a few. And I say this is Limper, um,
Yeah.
and go with him so he can lead you the way and make sure nothing
Cool.
nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I look to Limper and I say Limper, who, like, I think in some ways I'm, besides the Broodmother, I'm closest with, because we had that very intimate act of violence that
Yeah.
was when I first gave him the pick and said we're going to work together.
Yeah.
And I say, Limper, this is my son, Iritho. Help him. He's returned home. Help him. Help him gather his the others.
And yeah, he nods and um yeah, and they take him to his soldiers, and he comes back and his you see, like, they're not what you they don't look like the host, right? They're all in like earth colored clothes, and he's got like 30 arbalesters and then like 10 clansmen.
Nice.
And like the clansmen are all like, they've got like hand axes, right, just so they can defend themselves, but they've all got like digging gear. and
Right.
and and I think one of the men comes up and says, Warden, we're comes up to Hirtho and says, Warden, we're all set, we're all settled in. And he says, good, I want no trouble with the trolls. They're under my mother's care. You say, of course.
Yeah, and I think, like, when he said, "I want no trouble with the trolls," like, there's a, like, Polari just sort of bristled a tiny bit, like, oh, if he's gonna say they're dangerous, they're something or another, and then when he says they're under my mother's care, she sort of relaxes and she's like,
Yeah.
I am not going to correct my son or overstep him or anything like that. I'm going to let
Yeah.
him keep his authority, or I'm not going to challenge his, like, it's like, great, we'll see what happens when she disagrees with him. For right now, it's like,
Right.
yeah.
I think he sits he sits across from you and says, do you have a crown on? He doesn't say that. I say that. Do you have a crown on?
Yeah, she doesn't wear it. That
Okay.
she, like, wore it for, like, that, like,
Yeah.
what was like the equivalent of a coronation. It was just the two of her, but she'll wear it when Prince Bulat arrives. So, like, I think she's not wearing it, but, like, it could be visible. Like, it could be sitting on a throne, even, like, just that it's resting on. Like, it's handy.
What in the five spokes happened here, Mother?
It's so
Gaff,
much.
Gaff. We caught Gaff on our way in. And we couldn't make damn sense of what he was saying. He was talking about he'd sworn to a new prince.
Yep.
And he had to go talk to Bulat. He'd sworn an oath.
I like point up at the stone.
No, mother, he swore to a prince. That's your rune.
Yep. And I think I'm like, I didn't like, and I just like walk over and I grab the crown off of the throne, and I like set it down and I say, I'll wear this when Bulat arrives.
Wait.
I don't need to with family. Technically, he's a cousin twice removed. He's still family, but I'm gonna need to when he's here. I'm gonna need to command respect.
What happened to the dragon and your oath?
She's dead. I can't ever fulfill my oath to her. But in some ways, I'm going to in her memory. I'm going to keep this vault, and we're going to keep digging and finding those treasures that she sought. And
I thought you wanted to just come home and make Nog.
I did. But now this is my home. And I want you to join me. You're my kin.
Yeah.
And you're clearly an accomplished member of the host. And right now I have one vassal. And his name is Gaffy. And he's very much in love with your sister.
I think he falls to one knee and he says, Prince Palara, mother, I would be honored if you would take me as your soldier. I'm the warden of what's left of the Wheelholt armies. We got decimated by the Iron Gods.
Oh no.
Just decimated. And
I think Palara's like been like, I got a brace for this whole transition.
Yeah.
She's really expecting like this, like to just have to be like, no, I'm Prince now. I know it's hard to understand. Like I get it, but like that's what it is. I'm not gonna back down from it. And then as soon as she hears that, it's just like, she asks about other members, like she cares, right? These are also her family, and she asks like, what happened? What happened? What?
Boj. So Bella was supposed to. The oath was that Bella was to join the host.
Mm.
But you also had an oath that I could not become an adventurer. So we did not want to make an oath breaker of you.
Thank you.
But we had to have someone go adventuring so we could get the sword that kills dragons. So the three of your children got together and we decided that Bella would become an adventurer and I would join the host in her stead. Bella and a Leal adventuring party went north. I, with Boj and his command, chased the Iron Gods. But they knew we were chasing them. They knew we would chase them. The way dwarves fight is by tradition.
Seems that you have made some changes. She sort of looks at, his entourage.
Boj told me that the orthodoxy of dwarven host fighting is that when you are in the tunnels, fight like a troll. And when you are on the hills and the surface, fight like a goat. And when you are in the forest, you make like the burning wheel and you set fire to everything. And that is how the host fights. So I changed it. I made it so that after we were decimated, a few of us were still alive. We managed to not be captured. I taught them what I know of stealth, what Kurbika taught me. and we eked out a living, and we got us some some crossbows, and we harried them, and we made it so they never knew if they were going to be fighting a troll or a goat or the burning wheel. We just confused them. They're used to tradition. And because of that, the rank and file host soldiers declared me as the wardens. But
I thought I misheard your soldier.
The prince is not pleased. He has won the war, and I've given him enough hostages that he's making money. He'll be glad to see me go. Let's just put it that way.
Did he fall?
Or he died in the first attack.
He always wanted to have a great battle to
well, he got exactly what he wanted. The other dwarves call me the dwarves and the other hosts call me a coward. They say I fight like an elf. They say I have no honor. So that is what you're going to hear about your son. And then I think he goes to his second in command, who is this dwarven woman who is not his wife. And he says, Henka, bring it. It's time to show my mother the god. And I think like you two would know that the Iron Gods clan of dwarves are called that because they made these dwarven axes that are called the Iron Gods. And they bring out like a blanket that's wrapped around something.
Right.
And he like puts it on a table and he like throws it up. He was like, I was going to give it to Bulat, but I hadn't made it back to Wheelholt in a month. And like he undoes this dwarvish sweet axe, right? And it's just like it is one of the 13 Iron Gods, right? It's like one of the 13 best axes ever made.
Right. Yeah, she she's sort of just watching to see like what his intent, like, yeah, she keeps watching, she kind of wants to see like what his intent with the axe is, right? Like he was going to give it to Bulat,
right?
Obviously things have changed.
Yeah. He says this one is called the Mithril Cleaver. And Prince Pelara, it is yours.
Yeah, I think Pelara picks it up and sort of rolls the handle in her hand. And she's not an axe wielder, right? Like she doesn't, like, I think anyone can hold a sword, anyone can hold a weapon, right? But they don't, if you're not trained in it,
yeah,
like she can appreciate the beauty of it and the craftsmanship of it, but she can't really appreciate the balance and everything else, right? Like it's not really she doesn't really know how to hold it. And so she kind of like is gripping it by the middle of the shaft, and she says, this is, even I, who's no smith, can tell that this is an incredible, this is a legendary piece. But here's the show me where do you hold it? And she sort of like puts the shaft in his hand to be like,
yeah,
how do you, and she kind of like wants him to show her how to hold onto an axe, but by doing that I'm gonna like make him hold the axe, right? Like, or that's
yeah.
Like,
I think it's also the first time in your relationship, right, that you acknowledge that he knows something,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Because he's like the middle child, and like you were rough on him, man. The
I
rough
was
first.
I was very tough on him. Yes, it's
I
not
think
easy growing up.
he gets kind of choked up, and like I think like the camera pans out with him like showing you where to put your feet, and where he's like the hands are important but the feet are where it's at, and like he shows you like how to stand, and and he says, I'm not very good at this, but you know, I'll show you what I know. And yeah, and I think, you know, he shows you that. um he says, I'm sorry about the timing of all. And then, like, you know, a couple hours later, like when we
Right,
come back to you all,
right,
and
right.
you guys have eaten, and like I think you're eating with all of his soldiers at like at a table,
Yeah,
right? They've
yeah.
they've like they've got a feast hall set up,
Yeah, I think in
and
terms of the layout of the vault by this time with the trolls, like all the money has been like pulled away. Like we're not just like walking around in gold coins anymore. All
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
coins have been put away. And so what's really the amazing thing on display is the library itself. That's
yeah,
still very majestic. And we've definitely like opened up some more shafts for light to come in, and you know, not huge ones, but like I imagine there's some like stained glass that has been pulled up and put in place, and so we have some beautiful light coming through.
yeah,
But yeah, but for the most part, I think it's very big and open because we don't have a lot of people here yet. So yeah, a big hall where we're eating
yeah.
sounds great.
He says Bella is currently at Wheelholt having crossbow bolt heads made out of a dragon slaying sword. In another week, we would have killed it. The timing. I'm sorry, mother. We were coming. We were coming for you.
I know you were, and though I would have never asked you to do that, and if you had asked me, I would have expressly forbade you do that. I know you wanted to see me again, and I wanted to see you. But truth be told, when that dragon died, I was filled with nothing but guilt and sorrow over failing to fill my oath. And I'm so grateful that neither you nor Bella was the one who did it.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah, I think like so for everybody in chat hanging out with us, Jen is hanging out, and Jen is playing in the same world in like 150 years in the future. So I don't know if the reason why the Duke and Shield are gone is because of this incident or not. But the horrors that are happening now, I can only fathom. And so yeah, I think a big part of what Polara, once she kind of catches Hertho up to speed on what's happened, I don't think she tells him the intimate details between her and Axo. But I mean, everything else, she doesn't want him to find another enemy to go get him. She doesn't want Hertho to go get himself killed trying to, you know, avenge her or something like that to Axo. But other than that, I think she tells him, you know, everything that transpired, and and but mostly it's like the spider situation. Um, if we attack them, they will certainly, you know, they you know, she essentially conveys the message, right? I mean, she's gonna have to do this multiple times, um, but it's not like, oh, it's not our problem. They're just murdering all these humans. Sits well with Polara. You know, she is not happy with this thing. So I think she's talking strategy with Hertho of like, what would it look like to wage war on spiders and to you know to trap them or defeat them or scare them off to another place, you know, or send them back underground or whatnot. And I'm sure there's no answers to that, but that's kind of what's on her mind.
Yeah.
When, because you know, he's an accomplished, he's the warden now. She thought she misheard when you know, he was first called warden, and she's glad she didn't say anything.
Yep. He says, I think it would be a hideous war. Um, I think I mean the elves have made war on them before, and it was very costly to them. We I believe some of the Iron God mercenary units fought in it. They just don't fight like anything else. They fight like a bunch. They fight like
Did you say they fight unconventionally?
yes, but they've been doing it their whole lives. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I've been fooling people who think that digging a ditch and hiding in it is the height of cunning. These creatures, they will not fall for that. I think it's a very difficult fight, unless we can make them come to us somehow.
Well, I'd like to get.
The princes are going to want nothing to do with it.
I know, I know they are. Well, I want to get reports, and she's, I know they are, and frankly, I don't think I want to consult with them about this. You know, and
really,
oddly, she sort of looks at the crown and she says, part of holding the vault came because I announced that I was Prince Polara. And I believe the moment that I am no longer Prince Polara, our safety here is our safety from the spiders is gone. There is a nice edge that I have to walk between, if Prince Bluelot decides he doesn't like the idea of me holding the vault and he wants it for himself, I'm ready to tell him of the consequences of that, which are that those spiders which have honored me as prince will not honor him, and he will not be safe here. And yet at the same time, I want to end their reign. I don't know how to unweave that knot right now, but I'm not quite ready to tell the other princes that of my plan to stop them. Does that make sense?
yes, that's a lot. There's another problem. Boj has a daughter, and she inherited the deed to this place. I'm sure when Prince Bulat comes, she will come too.
Yep. Which means I better have a very good gift for him. I expect him to gift that back to me. And she's like, yeah, that's a hard nut to crack too. So what I think Polara is going to ask Hertho to do is to start setting up kind of patrols outside the vault to find out word of what's happening with the spiders. Not to interfere with them, not to try and stop them, but just find out how fast and how, you know, what's going on with them, so we get a sense of their movement and whether or not they're, you know, killing a few, taking over a town and being sated, or if it's just like this, not this just rampage. Like how quickly are they moving?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, cool. And I think like you get like one good report back before Bulat arrives.
nice.
And I think he asks his second in command, Henka, who is in charge of the scouting, to come in and talk to you about it. And I think Henka became his second in command because she was in the host, but she grew up a goat herd, right? So she grew up like out in the hills, hiding from trolls and all that kind of shit. And when she comes back, she's rattled. And you go to this map that is carved into a wall, and she says, and I don't even think you all bother to put human villages in maps because like why fucking bother? They just like disappear when the water goes bad because they don't know how to take care of themselves or wipe their own butts. Like what the fuck? But she like smudges like the map with her thumb, like her thumbprint, right? And she's like, there were human villages here and here and here. They are now webbed tombs. Usually when there's a war, you find refugees, you find people moving in a different direction. There's nothing. They just are eating towns.
Is there any indication of the direction they're moving from their pattern so far?
They are clearly, there is a I don't know if I would call it a castle. The humans would call it a castle. It's a tower with a couple of walls.
Do you think you can make it back there before the spiders do?
No. I think while we're talking, the spiders are decimating that thing. Decimating it. If I were them, that's where I would make my nest. It's a good spot. When the humans were settling, we were the ones who suggested it to them.
I want you to send word to any who survive and any who are neighboring that if they need a place for refuge, that they have one here.
That's just it, Your Majesty. There are no refugees. No one is surviving what these spiders are doing. No one. They are large. They are moving silently. I could barely find track of them. Every once in a while, I'd find a web or a husk of a deer. The forests were silent. These fucking things are eating humans. They're eating birds. They're eating deer, goat. So one of the sons of bitches killed a wolf pack. Left the wolf skulls dangling like some weird, I don't know, it looked like art. If spiders make art.
They might. They said they were moving south. I don't know how far south they meant.
There is that tower in the hills. The foundation was laid with dwarven help 700 years ago. It's a fine place. It's a good place to defend. If they wanted to set up a headquarters and prey on humans, it's a good bet. And I think she like points to it on the map, right? And she's like,
"Is this Arany Hills on the
map?" No. I think. Oh yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it is Arany Hills. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was looking a little west of that. No. So the Arany Hills is a proper castle. I apologize. Right. She's like, yeah, Arany Hills is where I would go. It's a proper castle. It's in the middle of the hills. There are gold mines all over the place. So they're going to have good nests. These are spiders who are used to living underground. Uh, there are a lot of armed men there, but they're gonna break. They're gonna break when they see spiders.
There's no way for us to send them a warning.
And I think like, if we're talking about this as like an HBO show again, um, uh, there were Bina Janos actually met people from the Arani Hills.
Yeah.
They were foreigners, so they were like, from across the sea, and they were black, and they were caravan guards who usually guarded gold.
I remember. Yeah, we
Because
went to the
yeah,
Gold Road Inn.
yeah,
Went on our way. Yeah, we went to the little town where we met a few
yeah,
people, travelers.
yeah. And I think like the dwarves would know that like the humans were like mining gold. They hit a few really good veins. There are a bunch of dukes in that area who are very rich,
Right.
and so they were having trouble with like knights turning bandit, so they hired foreigners to guard their gold, to guard the gold shipments in the caravans.
Right.
And so like that's the deal, like, which is just, I think for the dwarves, it's just like you couldn't trust your knights. What the fuck is wrong with you, right?
Right.
But I don't know, very human to like hire foreigners to do a shitty job that no one else wants to do.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, that's the Arani Hills. And so yeah, the elves are there. They say it's good hunting. Uh, you know, there are a lot of villages up and down the river, the Arani River. They're gonna decimate it.
We need to.
If they get to Duken then I don't know how we're going to stop them. I don't know how anyone's going to stop them.
And I think Polara had said this thing of, I don't want to quite tip my hand to Prince Bulat, right? When to Hirtho, and Hirtho's obviously here as she's getting this report from Henka. And so she looks at him like with this knowing look of, this is going to be tricky because maybe all the dwarves combined can stop them. But first I think in Polara's mind, and Judd, tell me if this seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Polara's mind, she first needs to get Bulat to recognize her as Prince of the Vault. And then she can be like, okay, we got a problem with all these spiders and we need to go.
Yeah.
As like co-prince, she can try and speak with him, but until that point, she doesn't have any sort of authority. So as a sort of a temporary thing, she says, send any message you can to Duken to any of the settlements along the way, to warn them. We can't stop these spiders, but we can at least hopefully give the humans they haven't already made it to time to evacuate or to fortify or to do what they will until we can do more. And yeah, she sends her away to go let people know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Hirtho like looks at the map and all the smudges of like these villages that are now gone, and he just like takes a gloved hand and wipes them away.
Yeah, I think it's a long fade from that scene, right, where they're just kind of staring at it, like, that's what's happened.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I think Bella and Toman get to you next.
Cool.
And Yeah, I feel like Bella and Tommen are like waiting for you to come from the feast hall where you were uh having lunch with Hertho and talking about how to defend this place. And like he reaches behind a bookcase and pulls out like some weird ancient gold triangular coin, right? That just like this place used to be like stupid with coins, right? So they
Right,
were
right,
just
right.
everywhere,
Yeah,
and a bunch of trolls moved them in wheelbarrows, and like so they're like this one was just like stuck behind a book, right?
yeah.
And he like takes one out, and Bella's like, "Leave it to you to find a gold piece in this place." And he's like, This was minted in the time of the Sorcerer Kings. This is an ancient coin." She says, "Okay, leave it to you to find an ancient Sorcerer King coin in a library that our mother just claimed."
Um,
He said,
and
"Technically, it's our mother's coin. It's kind of ours." And she's like, "You're not keeping it." He was like, he puts it in his like he like oh no, and he like puts it in his pocket like right in front of her, and he's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, do something." And
yeah,
then I think like you turn the corner and walk in, and like
yeah.
whether how much of that you heard is totally up to you.
Yeah, I think I come in. I pretend I think I pretend not to have heard about the coin, and I just heard Sorcerer King, right?
Yeah,
And I say, oh, Sorcerer King Devonar, the last of the kings. Yes, he waged war on the Dragon Renera in the vault. Many human generations ago. There's many texts on him. I could and then she like kind of gestures to them and she just because this is the first time
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So
And
like
I think
she,
like they're like so. It this is a great way to demonstrate how much Pilar has changed, right? Um, like 4 episodes ago,
right,
four sessions ago, she really just wanted to go home and make beer, right?
yeah,
She wanted to like go home and make beer with her husband, something she wasn't good at, right? She wasn't a particularly good nog maker. She
no,
just like loves doing it.
yep.
And
She was not a legendary, yeah, exactly.
I think you and your husband have like a really weird relationship. And like I think like Bella says, father uh sends his love and he sends a letter and he says he's closing up our household in Wheelholt and he'll be here as soon as he can.
Um, that's good to hear. I miss him very much, but I miss you
Yeah.
two the most. And she like tugs on her braids, and then and I think when she does it, the axo braid like
Yeah.
sticks in her like it like stick it like because it's a leaf that like the sharp
Yeah.
edge of it
Yeah. Yeah.
like cuts her hand a tiny bit or digs into her hand a tiny bit,
Nice.
and then she just like she was like clutching the braids of her children. She like grabs both of them in like this
Yeah.
giant sort of bear hug and sort of
Yeah.
pulls
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
up.
And yeah, I think they both like give you a big hug, like they give you big hugs. I think you can tell from Toman's beard that he's married now. And Bella has the stink of adventurer on her,
Yeah,
right?
has
She
Bella shaved or is she did she um
her
how,
beard is growing back, but she clearly did shave.
yeah,
Like she's got um like an unbraidable short
right,
beard.
it's
Like,
just
it's like
whiskers.
it's less than me, right? It's like way
Right,
less. It's just like yeah, it's just a short normal human beard, like
yeah,
right. And she has like a sword on her hip, and she's wearing like a leather divided riding dress, so she can ride some kind of steed or some shit. I don't
right.
know. And yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very, very different.
Yeah, I said, leave it to my children to outsmart me. Here, Hirtho comes back, a the warden. Here, Hirtho comes back a warden because he taught his soldiers how to use the terrain to their advantage and to outsmart Dor's Iron God. And my daughter, my rock, comes back with nothing but whiskers. And it's not sent with it's not sent with malice.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Sent like
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
the surprise, right?
She smiles and she says, I think it's the providence of the wheel. I think the soldiers needed some of his outside the box thinking, and I think adventurers needed some of my responsibility. As soon as we got home, I got Kerbika and we ventured into the Ariani Hills and hired, I don't know how to say this. We hired adventurers. We became an adventuring party. And then we went north beyond the vault and we killed a vampire and took his sword. And that sword is the sword that can pierce a dragon's hide. But we didn't have any of the dwarven artifacts we needed that would have saved us from the dragon fire. So we put our heads together and decided that we would melt the sword down and make crossbow bolts. So now, and I think like she drops like a leather bandolier, on a table and says, our family now owns 13 dragon slaying crossbow bolts.
And Pilar sort of pulls one of them out and like rubs her thumb along the side of the edge, right? She's not going to run over the edge. It's like running along the side of the blade because.
Oh yeah, it definitely nicks you. It's that like it's
right.
It's that Boromir touching the exactly. Sword thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And she says, "I imagine these would pierce the hides of creature of more than just dragons. You should treasure these and hold on to them. You'll need them." And and she like rubs some dirt into her thumb because that's her.
Yeah.
That's her upbringing, is
Yeah.
Rub a little dirt on it and it'll be okay. She's made a.
And I think as you rub dirt on your thumb, Gaff walks up and he says, "Your Majesty, Prince Poulat waits in your hall. I asked him to talk to you alone. I thought that's what you would want."
Thank you, Gaff.
Your Majesty, may I have a moment?
Of course. With me
and
or with Bella?
And he gets on one knee and says, "Bella, you're an adventurer and your beard is too short, but I've always loved you and I think you love me too. And I am oaths bound to your mother, Pella Dragonsworn, the pillar of the vault, and I would love to be sworn to you too." And she says, "Gaff, I love you too, you idiot. Get up. Let's do this." She gives him a big hug. "If you ever give me shit about my beard being short again, I'm going to see how sharp those crossbow bolts are. Abadart." And I think he starts crying and Tommen gives like a hip hip and Hirtho walks around the corner and says, what's going on? He says, "Oh no, he didn't ask. Right now?" And like,
as if we don't have enough big events happening.
And I think somebody breaks out an old cask of your Nog.
Nice.
That they brought
It's on my character
and
sheet even.
yeah, and they're like, let's have a drink. And I think like there's this like nice moment where like you all like just like have a drink together, and you all kind of like there's like a thing going on, and Bella turns to you and says, "I love you, mother, but your nog is terrible." And like everybody starts laughing. Like everybody's been wanting to tell you that forever, right? Like that you're just not good at this. You're just not a good nog maker. Your nog is so bad. And I think it's funny, right? Because you become so much more than like a brewer.
Yeah,
but
right.
like I just think it's so funny that at the beginning of the game, like that's all you wanted to do.
Yep.
You had like a mediocre skill at it. Like you were like, you just were okay. So anyway,
Nogger, yeah.
I think everybody
Nogger.
I think Tommen spit takes when she says it. She's like, your nog is terrible, and he just like spit takes. He's like, I can't believe you said that. And unless you've got something else to say about that, we can just get to Bulat and then kind of start to wrap it up.
Yeah, I actually have a B4 Nogger, but that's fine.
Okay.
I might make potent nog, but it doesn't have to be good tasting. Right.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
It's the stuff you get when you want to get hammered. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's my reputation is getting Prince Bulat hammered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, potent Nogger is my reputation.
Love it.
Yeah, and I'm like, yep, it'll clean the paint off of walls too. Yeah, and she takes like one more sip to give her some fortitude going into this, and she's like, all right, first Abadart, Gaffy. Before our first celebration in these halls will be your wedding. But now, give me my crown. Let's go see Bulat.
Yeah. He takes the crown off of a nearby statue.
Yeah.
Probably of Venera, and puts it on your brow. And I think Bulat's statue is like a simple iron ring, but it has like a red ruby on it to represent the burning wheel. And yeah, I think yours probably has a bunch of runes on it, right, to represent the vault.
Yeah.
And he turns and like kind of like starts at seeing you.
Yeah. And I think I walk up to him. Where is this? Is this like the throne room? Is this the
I think it's this is the hall that the pit trolls were in, that like you ran from.
And it has all of the
it's been cleaned up, and like the area that the trolls were using as a toilet has been cleaned out, and it's kind of empty because I think Dragonfire burned a lot of shit.
Right. But I think
that wasn't stone.
Was there a bunch of statues in here? A bunch of stone statues?
No, that was where you ran to. That was the tomb. Yeah, you like ran from here to the tomb nearby.
Yeah, love it.
And he says, I like what you've done with the place.
Thank you. It's I have had good help, and it's been a long time since it was tended to, but it's dwarven made. It's not going anywhere. She like knocks on stone, right? Like it's been a long time that we it's been a long time since we've seen these halls, but I'm glad they held up.
Pella Dragonsworn is, I will grant you, a princely name. Your reputation is impeccable, but it's your reputation that you have in Wheelholt.
It's true.
You will need to deal with the Prince of the Jewel Womb, that viper who sits on the throne in the Iron God. And of course, the old man, the old Whitebeard of the drunk uncle.
Not to mention having the Orcont between myself and you.
And the old Orcont, yes. The first of us to fall. Pelara, is this what you really want? Sometimes life moves very quickly, and you look up and you're not sure how you got here. Being a prince is a very tough thing to do, and if you want to go back to being a brewer, no one needs to know that you put that crown on.
All that I know about you, Bulat, Prince Bulat, I think. You don't wear your crown lightly, and you don't command your troops out of vanity. So I think I think what I've learned from you is that being a prince is not something you do because you want to do. It's something you do because you need to do. You do not claim the crown for your own wealth. You claim it in service of your family and of your clan. And of what I know of the horrors to the south, and of what I know of the history of the vault, this is what I need to do. Want is. And you know what? And I think this is maybe the first time Pelara's like admitting this to like anyone, even maybe to herself. She's like, and you know what? I think it's what I want to do too.
Then let's talk about what you need to do for me to support you. I funded the tunneling expedition into the vault because the royal family that owned the vault owed my family a lot of money. And it was coming time to collect. So I came here to collect the debt. That was my claim to this place. The reason we were ambushed by the Iron God clan and the trolls is because the Iron God clan are vile monsters who made a deal with trolls, and they did not want my family having the prince's seat of 2 holdfasts. They thought it would throw things out of balance. So what I need
only has so many. It's hard to spread. I want to make like a semi-crude joke about like it's hard to have like spread like 2 butt cheeks across 2 different chairs, right? Like, it's hard to sit on 2 different thrones without stretching your butt, you know, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Folksy, some folksy wisdom, dare I say?
Folksy wisdom, right? You know, like that just makes sense. You know, that's hard to do. Maybe it's better to have a prince who is an ally than to try and claim both for yourself.
Maybe. Can you afford to pay that debt?
How, this is just a Judd question. How the Bina perspective was Bina went to the Etharch and convinced her to go rescue the consort and Prince Chofka. Well, the consort, the Etharch didn't care about Chofka, but to go on a rescue expedition. And then we sort of cut forward to this rescue expedition to get to get the Ochovka and the consort. How much would Polara have even known that that wasn't Mulat's motivation? You know, his motivation wasn't to get his brother; it was to reclaim the debt. Is that known, or is that like a surprise to her?
Um,
Just thinking, does it make sense to be like, I thought you sent the expedition to recover your brother, but I don't want to say
um,
that if that's like obviously foolish, right? Like if that's
no, no,
like,
no. You can say that. I think that's a very reasonable thing to say.
yeah, yeah, okay, sounds good. And he could take it anywhere. Like he's like, my understanding was that you came here to save Prince Chofka, your brother.
Yes, of course. Of course I did. I wanted to save my brother,
And I believe
but
I did that. I sent him
you
home to
did
you.
you did do that, and I am grateful. He's better than he was. But these things cost money. I had to go to the Guilders. You'll learn.
I understand.
In order to fund that, I had to have a reason, a monetary reason.
Let's
This is
find.
how I this is how I built my case. I did not say I need to save my brother. I said,
One could say that I'm in debt to you as the new prince of the vault, and one could say that you're in debt to me for saving your brother. But I understand the guilders don't care about what we have to say; they care about the coins in their purse. So let's find an answer that will that will make sure that we're both secure in our holds. I do
yeah,
not wish to deplete the vault of its riches and be unable to keep it safe, and nor do I wish to send you home empty-handed. Let's find
yeah,
let's find a fair. I don't think fair is right. Let's find a solution that will solve both of our problems. There is wealth within these halls, and I
yep.
am, and it is not. That is not what I care about. That is not what drives me. Um, I would ask something of you in return. I believe that Warden Boge, his daughter, has inherited the deed stone, which I gave to him, and I would like that back in the possession of back in the vaults. Perhaps
Do you have haggling by any chance?
do I have haggling? That's a good question. I think Centaurius debate counts as haggling. I think it's let me double check.
Oh, does it?
Let me look. Don't think I have haggling, but I do remember.
I'm in the S's of skill is a combination of haggling, oratory, and persuasion. It is loud, boisterous, and heated.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. So I think
Uh,
I can.
cool. So what you want is you want to pay the prince,
Yep. I want to give him the money he needs, or I want to give
but
him some.
then he's going to deal with Boja's daughter.
Yeah.
Cool. I think the obstacle is 6. And I think if you fail, you've got to pay him and then go to her and see what she wants.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a home court advantage bonus die.
Yeah.
Welcome to being a prince. When you debate something in your own hall, you get a bonus die.
Oh, very cool. All right. Okay.
And I think what we don't see in our back and forth, because neither of us wants to yell at each other ever, and we definitely don't want to yell at each other today. And we definitely probably never want to yell at each other over the mic, because that's just not going to be any fun at all.
It's not fun for anybody.
It's not fun for anybody. Is that this conversation goes back and forth and louder until it becomes a Centaurius debate, right? Which is just dwarven. It gets louder and yellier, and they're yellers.
Yep.
And so
right.
It gets heated.
We as players, and also just people who care about each other, are speaking in a very thoughtful and considerate manner.
Yes.
But
yes.
I agree. All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna try and fork in a bunch of things
Cool.
because this is really important to me because it's important to me that I have this claim.
Yeah. Your
So
wises are ridiculous. Like I'm on the verge of accusing you of being like, you knew you wanted to be Prince the moment you burned this character out. Like I'm right on the verge of like, John, you're being coy, but
I had no, well, yeah,
I don't really think that, but I'm like I'm stroking my beard and wondering is what I'm saying, because
yes,
your wises are really awesome. Like they're really really good,
they're good wises. Yeah.
and they're kind of excellent for a Prince. Like
I hope so. I mean, they're really germane to a lot. I mean, to a lot of this stuff. So,
yeah, I think it's really
okay.
amazing. So cool.
All right. Okay.
What are you forking in?
I'm gonna throw in a bunch, and you tell me. Like,
Yeah,
just feel free to
yeah,
call bullshit. But because a lot of this is
yeah,
because I do think the conversation goes over a lot of things, so there's a lot of opportunity to bring. Well, but this point, all right.
yeah.
So I want to fork in. Okay, we'll start from the top. I want to fork in Gilderwise because I'm saying I totally understand what the Gilders want. I get it. Let's find a payment
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
good with him. I want to fork in family wise because I'm like, this is the
yep,
A, you and I are family. B, that means all like we're all to some degree
yeah.
family anyways. But oh, I do have haggling. I have haggling too. So I want to fork
Forking
in
haggling.
haggling. Yeah, exactly. Forking and haggling. It's like, a little bit of like there's a few times when he's like, I asked for this much, and I'm like, you want that much? Why don't you take the whole, like, why don't you take all 7 of the mountains then, right? Like there's a little bit like,
Right.
what you're asking for is ridiculous, right? But that's kind of also just so those three. I because this is about my oath to Boj and to the dragon, and like I have to stay here because I made this oath to the dragon that I was going to do this, and I'm not, like, that oath isn't fulfilled yet. I want to bring in Oathwise. Like this is necessary. Though we are yelling at each other in the beginning, I think I was being very not deferential, but I was like giving him a lot of
Respectful.
accolades and like
Yeah.
telling him like I've learned from you, so I want to work in soothing platitudes because I think I was
Nice.
definitely like saying, oh, what I think of what makes a good prince is what I've learned from you.
So yeah, are you still going? Yeah.
I got one more, and this is a fucking whammy. As I'm gonna say, we believed that we're in the like we're gonna tour the vaults and like walk around and stuff. At some point, I'm gonna pull out these books and I'm gonna be like showing some passages. And like, we believed that the vault fell out of the hands of dwarves. It never did, and it passed from
Right.
one dwarf, from the dwarf Venera to the dwarf Palara. And I'm just like, this is the line of succession. I
Yeah.
was the last dwarf she swore an oath to, and I am
Oh
now.
shit.
And
Shit, that's really good. Oh my
so
God.
I'm forking in ancient history because it is
all right. So
totally relevant.
yeah. You got some, it's all good. I like that you gave a reason and like why you did it. But now I just want you to list every wise that you just that because like the people in chat are like, how many wises? And it's like, yeah, it's a good point. So it's family wise,
Yes. Gilderwise.
Gilder wise, what else?
Oathwise.
Yep.
Ancient history.
Okay.
Soothing platitudes.
Yeah.
I don't know if dragon wise is applicable. I don't think
it is. I
You
think it
so?
is.
Okay. Dragon wise, haggling. And I'm gonna push one more and just say like I'm gonna say host wise to say like if you strip me of all my gold, I can't defend this place. Like I need to be able to pay the host to do it. So
Yep. That's good.
8 wises.
Yep. Go for it.
8 forks.
Yeah.
And +1 for the home field advantage.
It's welcome to the Prince life.
Yeah. So 9 bonus dice. 9. Martha of 6. Yes. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Centauri's debate is an open skill.
Yeah.
So it just exploded. I got 13 successes.
So you more than doubled it.
Yes.
So here's what he does. Here's what I think. Like, I don't think that there's really a crit in Burning Wheel, but that's pretty. That's as close
This
as I'm
is
going
as
to get.
close as it gets. Yeah.
He says, "We know you owe me. Let's deal with that once your household is set up." Like, don't like he's saying, like, don't make the resources test right now.
Right.
Get set up, and you know, I'll we'll sit down with the guilders and we'll draw up papers, but we'll do that in a year. How about we do it the day after your daughter's wedding? And we can say that, like, when like word of that has gotten around, and
Yeah.
and the general time for people, for dwarves to be engaged is a year.
Right. Nice.
And so, like, he's
I
like, we'll
think
do it.
I think that scene happened literally right before this one. So I love the idea that this took like hours of negotiation, and at some point, like Gaffy was like, "She's gonna marry me." Like he he accidentally like overheard it or something like that. Like
Yeah.
we came into the thing and we heard about it, and so it's like he heard about it as like part of our conversation, right? Like, oh, she's getting married, right? I like that.
He says, "Let's talk about it the day after your daughter's wedding. It'll be a joyous occasion, and we'll deal with money matters afterwards."
And I think like this is, I'm part of like capitalist society, right? That I can't escape. But one thing I know is that having debt is part of having good credit, right? If you have no debt at all, like having debt and paying, this is within American credit score bullshit, right? This is not necessarily dwarves, but I know that like having debt and paying it off on a regular basis is like part of the way you build good credit. So you get credit cards and you get loans and whatnot. And that's why homeowners have better credit, because they have this big debt, but they also have a history of showing that they're paying it and all that stuff, right? And I feel like to some degree, being in debt to somebody is like a good way to hold, like, as long as you're paying it, as long as you're like responsible about it, it's like a good way to maintain good relationships with someone too. Because it's like, cool, we're invested in each other's future. Like, you want me to succeed because you want me to pay you that debt. Like I want to pay that debt, so I'm free of what I owe you.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm just saying, like, I feel like from Polara's perspective, that is a really fantastic like arrangement, and
cool.
she's really grateful.
Love it.
Working a routine Centaurus debate. It's unfathomable that Ob 6's routine, but it was all them forks.
Yeah.
Groovy. I still want to give the prince a gift. Like,
awesome.
I do think, like,
I
kind of want to do the resources roll to give him a cool gift that isn't.
I think you kind of have to. I think you kind of have to, or else you insult him. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I want to give him a precedent for giving me a gift of the
right.
Zone, right. Like, and I think that's like, I've got to give him something big. So
yeah,
let's make that resources roll. Let's give him something really shiny. Do I know anything that he is? I mean, I was talking earlier about a super well bedecked, gleaming sword or something like that. But
wait. Ob 7 is a dwarven shield. Ob 8 is a dwarven forge mask. Ob 10 is dwarven mail, a kingly gift.
All right. Well, there we go. What
are you thinking?
Okay, Judd. This is
what is it?
When Bina was meeting with Satarbi.
Yeah. Oh, the debts.
One of the tapestries that she passed up was the 17 debts. And it was the great debts that have been collected.
Yes.
And I say, and I think I'm going to tell him, and I say, when we do this, the great artist will complete it, and the 18 debts will have been paid. Like,
nice.
That's going to be part of this. Like, I don't think that's the gift, but I do think like this is part of your legacy to be paid. Part of your legacy is to be enshrined in the that what will be the 18 debts.
Yeah.
Because there was that panel that was on.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Sorry, I just like I thought about it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
debts.
Oh
I
shit,
can't believe
that's
we're
I
reveling
forgot.
over-
I totally forgot about the 17 debt tapestry. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
remembering, and that's incredible.
All right. So, I mean, I feel like it's go broke or go home. I'm giving him
Yeah.
Dwarven Mail, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I could. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So, ob 10, you say?
Yeah.
All right. It's basically how many of these 15 gray dice do I want to spend to hit it?
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you can bring in? You can't fork in resources.
Players may make linked tests using appropriate skills like wises or accounting in order to get a bonus die to a resources test. Characters may help one another with resources. If the testing player is taxed, then everyone involved on the test is taxed.
Okay.
Buying in bulk, Luke. What the fuck are you doing here? What is going on?
Thank you, Luke. All right, I think I want to make an ancient history test to basically like not only find a suit of mail, but like find the whole history of it and all of the stuff. Right? Like I want to know like who owned it and what it was, so that when it's presented with like fanfare and like a narrative of like what it means to wear it and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, a spammer.
I think it's Ob 1.
Bam. Oh, unbanned. Somebody already banned him. Thanks, spammer. Whoever caught.
And we are quick on the draw, man.
Thank you, Andy. Andy, we're good.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 spammer. Okay, Ob 1. Ancient history, forking in ancient languages, because it's all
because the runes are like on the armor, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like from the vault and hold some of the history of the vault and bump.
Yeah, I think the what's up? Go for it. Make that roll.
I think I clicked it.
Not seeing anything.
Did it go through? No. Okay, try it again. Bump. Okay, got it.
Cool. Yeah. So that's a bonus die. I think like you find the perfect piece of armor, right? Yeah. It's like it's amidst the gold, the dragon's treasure. You find. Fuck, is it the mail that his brother was wearing?
Chovka?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I like that. I think that's...
Yeah, and it's like, it's ancient history because it was the mail that their like ancestor, the first Prince of Wheelholt made, and it was forged like using the burning wheel as the forge fire.
Oh my god.
Right. And yes. Like the chest piece is like a huge gold burning wheel with like rubies as the fire, because dwarves are subtle.
Yeah, right. We're very subtle. Very, very subtle. All right.
And yeah, I think it was like, and I think like the role is like you looking around and then you see this like charred thing on an armor stand, and you like rub your thumb against it and like get some of the dragon fire, ash off of it, and you're like, holy shit, this is it. This is the ancestral armor of Wheelholt. We fucking have it. We own it.
Yeah.
Like that's the gift. That's the only gift to give him.
That's the only gift. Yeah. And that's why. Yeah.
And I think your son will give you a bonus die for accounting.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Tillman. And can I get the same home field dwarf advantage from being in my
No.
vault?
Oh yeah, yeah, you can. Yes, I'll give you the home field bonus die. And I think like so failing this doesn't mean that uh you can't get it, right?
Right. I mean, I think it's
Failing
fair.
failing this will mean that it's like your market reputation, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like, do you give it in a way that is princely and in a way that lets the other princes and guilders know that like you're a wealthy motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
You're to be taken seriously. Because you're going to be able to give it to him. It's just a matter of does it affect your market reputation? Does that make any kind of sense?
Totally. Absolutely. Cool. Or you're crass as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
what's this? All right. So I've got 3 bonus dice, 1 for the link test, 1 from Toman, 1 from the home advantage. So I'm rolling D6.
Yeah.
The way cash dice work is I basically just spend them and they're gone. And so I think I want to. So I'm rolling B6, and I'm trying to get odd 10.
Right.
I mean,
or do you just want to like spend 3 cash dice and then hope you can throw some Artha at it?
Oh, right. I could totally. I have 2 persona left. I forgot about Artha. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Yep, let's spend 3 gray dice, 3 gray cash dice. I'm gonna put I have cash here, so I'm gonna put this as 12 gray. 12 gray, 12 B, 12 G, 12 gray. Okay. Yeah, because there's whole like funds and property and loans and debts, and there's all sorts in this game. This game is over the top. Let me pull that up. Card sheet. Okay. So I'm gonna spend a persona.
Yeah.
To bring in my greed.
Yeah.
What is a B? What is ob6 when you have the roll exponent 6? Is that difficult? Assume it's difficult, but I should probably double check. 6, yeah. So I'm gonna do a difficult greed test, which is 6 dice because my greed has gone up to 6.
Got it.
And mark a difficult test there.
Oh, that's right. Can you put greed into this?
I think so because it's power and status, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you could spend Earth on resource rolls, so yeah. Okay. How do you want to roll I'm going to roll the 3 gray dice separately because they are okay. So I got 3 bonus dice from various things, and I've got 6, and I've got So I'm going to roll 3 bonus dice. I'll do this on stream so everyone can see it. Resources. There. Okay. What a game. All right. 3 bonus dice from Link Test, Help, and being a king, being a prince. 6 Artha. Ob 10. And then I will roll my 3 gray dice separately. Oof. Traitors.
Oh shit. Okay.
And then we're gonna roll 3d6. It doesn't necessarily. Yeah, it doesn't explode. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that's 8, and I got 1 6, so I'm gonna spend fate to explode that. Very unlikely, but
1 6, baby. You're only 1 short. That's not bad.
That's 9 successes. Yeah.
9 of 10, dude. That's not bad. That's 1 tax. Your tax 1.
Okay, nice.
Not bad. That's not bad at all. That's a successful role as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome.
How do you present it to him? Let's talk about it.
So I think that this is like, I mean, I'm not like a, like, I don't see that there would be a, I don't see that there would be like, sorry, I am not super interested in like having a session that's all based around my coronation.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah. No,
think if
me
it's
neither.
okay with you, that
Yeah.
this is be like part of my coronation is
Yeah.
like he comes and brings me the deed
Yeah.
stone.
Oh, they brought it with them. They were hoping to cut a deal.
Right, right, right. But I
Like,
think he presents it to me, right? And yeah, and I'm gonna have Hertho on one side and Gaffy on the other, carrying
yeah.
out this carrying out this you know, giant like pallbearers almost carrying out this like giant um crate, you know, but it's not a crate. It's a dressed up, you know, mahogany wood box or something like that, right? Like it's been, you
Yeah.
know, and then like Toman like reading the history of the dwarves and like reading the history of their deeds that like I've given him, like here's all these things, here's all these things, and then like Bella opening up the door, like pulling off the lid to like present this dwarven mail glittering and gleaming. It's been like polished to you know, it's been cleaned and polished and it's like hanging within this, you know,
Yeah.
giant box. Um and and then I you know
Yeah.
you know I think I give the final bit of the history of it and hand and you know and hand it to him.
I think like he goes and he touches it, and there's like one ruby in the burning wheel fire that's missing. Um, and that's because one of his ancestors tried to take back Orkant and got like hit by a troll warlord, and like the ruby fell out.
Mm,
And so like he touches that, like, because it's just a piece of history, you know, and he's crying, and he says, "This is a princely gift." And he takes a glass of your nog that he knows is going to get him fucking hammered, and he says, "A toast to our host, our hostess, Polara Dragonslorn, the Pillar, the Vault, Troll Friend, a friend of Wheelholt, and a an expeller of spiders." This is
I think she's super proud of all those things until he says like the expeller of spiders, and it's just like, oh, right, like that's
let us enjoy a generation of dragonless, glorious peace, and welcome the newest noble family, the Pillars, to those of us who wear a crown in our left. And like there's a toast, and he definitely ends up doing that dance that Polara, he gets drunk and like embarrasses himself and
nice,
does the dance that Polara had mentioned that he did
nice.
when
Polychron's
she was talking to the
background.
trolls. And I feel like um next game will be your daughter's wedding when all of the princes are coming to the vault for the first time,
Nice.
and we'll do a uh we'll do a test to see like a lifestyle maintenance test to see how you're doing with setting this place up.
Right.
And if you want to test down your tax, you can do that and do some mining. And I think Deddy is definitely going to come, your cousin, the best tunneler in all
Yeah,
of Wheelholt.
absolutely.
is gonna, you're gonna poach her,
I'm totally gonna poach her. I'm gonna poach my. I
and
mean, yeah, the Pillar
yeah,
family.
yeah, um uh and it's going to be about, can you marshal the dwarves to go after the spiders? Probably, I would
Yeah.
think. I mean, if you just want to sit in peace and let the humans get eaten, I'm cool with that. But I think you've seen the face of that evil.
Yeah, I can't stand by it. And I think that coming from a place of, um, yeah, I think in this is a way I could entice the other dwarves to join
Yeah.
me. And there is a thing I want to do before this ends. So it's a small thing.
I yeah, but okay, yeah. I've got a good ending. So I think I've got a good kicker for the ending. So
Okay,
like
well, let me do a little
it's
thing
dope.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So we're having this whole feast. We're doing all this stuff, and it's been some time, right? Like Hertho's been here for a while. He's gotten set up, and I'm sitting next to him, and we're drinking, and I'm like, and I say, and I think I've got my family next to me. I think I've got my family around, and I like we're kind of drunk, so this is fine. And like I give Prince Bulat a shove, and I'm like, we forgot a gift, and we got so enspelled by ensorcelled by your armor and all this knowledge that we forgot an important gift. And so she sort of whispers something to Gaffy, and like Gaffy comes back with something all wrapped in cloth, and she says, I can't have my warden um, I can't have my warden uh, 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 ill-equipped in the field. And she goes like her throw, and she opens it up, and it's the mithril cleaver
yeah.
he gave to her. She's like, I never figured out how to hold it anyway. You knew what you were doing. Um, and she's like, this is your claim as my warden. It's not a gift. I lie and say it's a gift. It's a responsibility.
And I think like Hirtho looks at Bulat and he says, "You knew you were going to be released from my service. Serve your mother." And he takes it and raises it above his head, and all of his soldiers cheer.
Nice.
And he says, I will cut off the head of she. Oh, yeah, fuck. That's what he does. He says, I swear an oath.
Oh, my God.
Right here.
This is the danger of getting dwarves drunk on Nog, is oaths get sworn.
Yes. He says, I swear an oath right here that I will cut off the head of she who eats the dragon with this axe and bring it back to this hall so it can be preserved and mounted over that throne. And I think like Bella is just like, she's the reasonable one, right? She's just like, right. This is how this shit happens.
Yep, exactly.
And
this is exactly how the trek into the vault started all this trouble happened.
This is exactly how it happened. This is exactly how it happened. No one learns from history.
Yep. We just do these things, and it's like, here's Palara, the Longbeard, who's just like, oh shit. Like, yeah. It doesn't matter whether she ratifies that oath or not. She heard it. Yeah. She saw it. She can't do it. You can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
And she just gave him the tool to do it too. It's like, oh jeez. Right. Yeah.
And I think in the days after this, you're like getting your household set up, and Gaff is ill-equipped to do any of this shit. But your son Toman is pretty good, and that you're helping each other and you're learning as you go. And he says, we've got to send out the wedding invitations. And it's a whole thing. And the first invitation that gets returned gets returned by an elf outrider. And it is that the elvish Ethark the Queen of Storms has accepted your invitation. And Gaff is like, we have to invite her. It's just like, we have to.
Right,
It's
right, right.
just protocol.
I imagine it's like she'll never say yeah, but you have to send the invite anyway, right?
She is accepting her invitation and is bringing her army with her.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and so it's like they're just like, where should we camp? Is basically like
Right.
the thing. And so,
I love the idea of the RSVP. It's like yes and it's like and how many plus ones? It's like 1,000 plus ones, right?
yeah. Me and 3,500 elves. Um, uh, and yeah. I think the name Gaffy does not look it just there's nothing you can do to make that name elegant. It still looks goofy, even
Yeah.
in fucking Elvish script.
Yeah.
And Gaffy's like, which one's mine? And they're like, that one. And they're like, how can you tell? And yep. And they say, because it looks stupid, Gaffy. That's how we can tell. What? I'm not stupid. You're lucky Bella took you. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, I think that's the next game um
Is the wedding and all the princes or all the princes that show up and the
yeah.
Itharc.
And yeah, the family and the Itharc and the spider problem.
Cool. Yeah.
Holy shit, Sean.
Wow.
Jesus. That was awesome.
I was not expecting. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be impossible. I was really just practically ready to just go, yep, there you go, Bula. It's all yours. I don't need all of this. I don't need all this trouble. But
I really thought I was going to talk you out of it. Not once the game happened, but like when I was picturing the game, I was like, Pelara is going to get pretty far into this whole prince thing, but she's going to get kicked out of the vault. She's going to lose that duel of wits. And in the midst of it all, she's going to give it up the crown and like go be a brewer and be happy. And I'm going to kind of happy for her. And
right. Because we could kind of end the Pelara story, right? Like it could be
right.
It could be like, cool, she goes back home. The thing that she's really wanted, because she's homesick. It's one of her traits, right?
Yeah.
And like no, I mean, I think that would have been a cool outcome for her. But I also like, I'm not ready to let go of this whole, I let loose these spiders that are murdering a jillion people story, right? Like, I mean, if we retired her, I'd be like, cool, so let's play Nara and dealing with the spider problem, right? So I'm glad that we're keeping, I'm like, this is the big deal. Yeah. So
yeah, it was a really weird opening of the game. Like I really didn't think that it's not like me to like have the dice at the table and then override it. But I felt like I was overriding it in your favor. And I was overriding it because I felt like you like played it all kind of perfectly. Like you made the ancient languages roll. You made the handmaiden respect you, I think, from what you said and the way you handled yourself. I think she was ready to respect another woman because I think they come from, a matriarchal culture. And I think if you had been a dude, that would have been a different scene.
Yeah.
If Pelara had been a man, I think that would have been very different. And so, I felt like, I've got to override that. Like, I think number one, it was with Fiona. So like, it was a different thing. And Fiona isn't a person, right? So it's not like there's a player who I'm overriding, right?
Right. You're not overriding a player's agency.
Right. If
I mean,
another player, yeah.
And it's not like this happened within the confines of the Duel of Wits, but I mean, we've talked about this before, where there's Duel of Wits where somebody just says something and you're like, yeah, they give up, right? Like they agree, right?
Yeah.
There's sometimes when you just like something happens and you're like, yeah, no, that's how it goes. So
yeah,
they give
Yeah,
up
I've
the
had
dual
that.
wits because it
Yep.
just makes sense. So,
Yep.
I feel
Yep.
like this is kind of an extension of that. Like someone can
Oh,
go,
totally. Totally.
my boss said okay, so I guess okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
and it's not
That
like
was really
Fiona
fun.
wanted this place. Yeah, it was a blast. I'm so glad
No,
we
no,
did it.
yeah. Fiona wants to get out there and eat the world. Like
Yeah,
he's living his best worst life right now. So,
yeah, right.
um,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna see him again, and it's gonna be bloody. And there's yeah, there's lots of like I think movies and whatnot that try to create justifiable reasons, or books or whatnot that try to create justifiable reasons why people who would like be at each other's throats have civil conversations and then later on are attacking each
yeah,
other with swords.
yeah,
And they do that to lesser or greater success. I feel like sometimes it makes total sense within the context,
yeah,
uh, because where they are, what's going on, whatnot. But sometimes you're also just like, but if this was a PC, they would just pull out their sword and stab them, right? And
yeah,
this was like one of those cool moments where I was like, yeah, yeah, we're definitely not doing anything other than talking right now. I did shove him, but he deserved a shove. Um, but we're definitely not going to go beyond talking right now. But next time we see each other, yeah,
yeah. It's on. Yeah,
I don't think there's a way that it's not violent, and I have zero capacity to do violence. But I mean, Polara's got a brawling skill. I don't think that's going to do much good against Fiona's javelins, but
you've got a year to train, right?
exactly. I could,
Time to get working. Yeah.
burn that bridge when I get to it.
I think you've got to your next game. One of the things you could do is circle up the best, the best axe teacher in, in all of the princedom. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do some beliefs. I do have good brawling.
Artha.
It's true. Yeah. I spent a lot, so I'm hoping I'm going to get some.
Artha.
All right. Trolls have lost their history and their language. I'll teach the broodmother ancient history so that she may share it with the others. Fate, right? I haven't finished it, but I started it.
Yep.
And it was successful. For the first time in 100 years, the vault is once again in the hands of a dwarf. I was wrong about that. But I will keep it safe for all who seek refuge. I want to say deed. I became a prince and claimed it as my own.
Yep.
Do you think that's right?
I do.
Cool. I miss my family like I miss the fresh air. I will send Gaffy to bring them home. I did it.
Yep.
They're here. Take
yep. Persona.
Fiona Cecile cannot be redeemed. However, he may still value the bond of our friendship. I'll make him swear an oath that he and his spell spiders will never return to the vault. I think it didn't quite come out exactly as I wanted, but I think it did it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Every morning and night I inspect the entrance to the vault to keep it safe. Did not happen. Always remind strangers that I am Prince Polara, Dragonsborn.
Take a fate.
Totally want a fate for that one.
Yep.
Absolutely. I always spend my evenings reading from libraries in the vault. Always get a twinge in the back of my neck when impending danger. Those didn't come up. Traits. I think I want bearded because my beard came into play many times. Like I folded Fiona's charm into my beard as like I won't forget this is our deal. I won't forget that like we were friends once before, but now we're enemies. No? Okay.
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool moment, but I don't think it sent the story in an unforeseen direction necessarily.
True. You're absolutely right. Folksy wisdom.
So I would say rather than you get a fate for folksy wisdom, sending the story in an unforeseen direction, I was going to say that you get a humor fate. Nice. For one butt cheek on each throne. I think that's great. And I think it also the folksy wisdom thing, but I like that line a lot and it did make me laugh. So I think yes.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. So I won't take one for there, but I will note that I'm gonna get one.
And I think you should get a right skill, right time fate just for like all of your fucking wises. Like your wises are so good. And choosing wise for each setting is a baller move. Like I will be taking that move with me into other Burning Wheel games. Like, having an elf who has Citadel wise, Wilderlands wise, Protector wise, like
Right.
that's fucking useful.
it
That's
it felt, I mean, they came from the life pass, right? Like I didn't just think them up. They were not required skills, but they were Longbeard helped out quite a bit with that.
yeah,
But yeah, I absolutely, I was like, well, you got to negotiate between all of the different uh uh life paths, all different
yeah,
settings. Yeah.
yeah. And I think if
um
I could, yeah, cool. That's awesome.
I okay, right. So I forgot fate. I forgot the trait was for sending, for the fate for traits was for sending it in unforeseeable directions. So that actually helps me narrow this down, because I was like, oh, which traits came up or like were featured, but it's not
Yeah,
which one are features. But in terms of ones that sent it in unforeseen directions, I think Oathsworn definitely
yes,
did it, because it caused me to resist Fiona in a way that he was not expecting at all, and I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
expecting.
yeah.
Um, and I also, I also think homesick, because that's like, instead of going back, I brought my family here, right? It
Right.
was, um, but I think that's it in terms of traits.
Cool.
Take two for that. And I would like a persona for Moldbreaker.
Yep. Totally. Yes. Obviously.
I mean,
Obviously.
yeah, she's just
Obviously.
a different person. Like you were even saying, like, can you imagine Polara 4 sessions ago
Yep.
talking about the Sorcerer King?
And I really didn't. I don't think you saw this coming. I really didn't see this trajectory for Polara. Like I thought it was like, I thought her trajectory was gonna be like, go out, do something really cool, come home to her family.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because that's what Bina's trajectory was. But like Polara is more like go out, find a new home, bring her family to that. Like that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, it was absolutely not. I never expected. The vault was a prison, right? It was. Yes, Matt Foreman. Not only do I have grave rolling, but also a deed. Yes, I'm very. This is the second deed of this game, which is kind of amazing. Don't normally get deeds that often, but like this is a big stuff.
We also need to talk about game wise Polara's husband, which I think is who fascinates me because he's not a relationship, right? So that's interesting. I think it is a loving relationship,
yes.
But it I think it's very pragmatic, right? I think it's just like if my wife was sworn to a dragon and then spiders ate that dragon and she declared herself prince and sent a guy we know declared as her Abudart to like summon the other prince and our family back to her place where she's claimed, I would drop everything and go. And I like that, like her husband, in a very reasonable way that she liked, was like, I need to clean up our house so that we can move to the vault. Like,
yeah,
I've got to stay here and take care of business. I can't go like, and I like that. I also like that he's going to be hard to find. You're going to have to circle him up. You don't have a relationship with him. Right. Like when you want to track him down, you're going to have to go find him.
Yep.
Like he's going to be like digging some tunnel somewhere, like, and, or whatever he does.
Right.
And it's going to be like, you're the prince's husband. You don't have to do that. And he's going to be like, shut up. Like we're clansmen. I dig tunnels. Like that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's why my wife fell in love with me. You're going to have to circle your husband up. I think that's hysterical and amazing. And I love that the game tells us that,
right, right.
Like
the game's like, you don't get those people in your life unless, I mean,
right.
If you look at my relationships, this always happens to be, Judd. I spend a ton of RP on a noble relationship. In this case, it was Boj, and the character dies. Because last time I did it with Bina's lord, and
yes.
I mean, she killed her lord, so that's on me. But yeah, it's fine because I wanted that relationship. Cousin Boj, I forgot, he was my cousin.
Yeah.
I wanted that relationship because I wanted a powerful antagonistic relationship. I thought that was going to be interesting being in the game, but like the ones I care about are Tom and Bella and Hertha, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
those are the
yeah,
ones that like I really wanted to see on screen all the time anyway. So
yeah,
this is great, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Boj's daughter should make an appearance. I think
Yeah,
my husband should make an
I think
appearance.
so. I think Boj's daughter is going to end up being Bulat's new warden,
Yeah,
right? So she'll be in that conversation about like, do we need to go after the spiders?
yeah, perfect.
So there's that, and then what else? There's something else I wanted to mention, and I can't remember what it is. Yeah, no, I just love this. I love the trajectory of it. Uh, I love where the game has gone. This is not where I expected it to go. This was not like a let's get a crown
No,
thing. Like,
it's really funny because to me, a lot of the like Polara being Prince is like it was part of the decision when I was like, okay, what's the one thing she's not greedy for? Gold, and and it feels in a similar vein. She is greedy for power for sure, but it
yeah,
feels in a similar vein that like in my mind, being a prince is very much a means to an end, and
yeah,
that might change. Like Polara may become comfortable in her power and decide that being a prince is enough in and of itself, and that's all she needs to do. But right now, it's I'm doing this so that I can give the trolls a home. I'm doing this so that I can give refuge to humans that need it, and I'm doing this so that I can mount a force to stop the spiders. Right? Like it is something she wants, but it's also something that she sees like I want this because I feel like I can do something good with it, and not like and not per se I want this just because I want to sit on a big throne.
yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether she can.
yeah,
We'll see whether she can still be the person that she hopes to be.
yeah.
In, in the future. So
I think. I mean, yeah. I think it's interesting. I'm really interested to see her hosting in her home this big gathering of very powerful people. I will write up a little short blurb about each of the princes of the other holdfasts so
nice.
that you know who they are. And I will. I think the interesting conversation that's going to happen next game, like the wedding is cool, and we'll be able to have like little conversations if you want. But I think the big thing you're going to get to do is like call the meeting of the princes in your hall, and you get to decide who attends that. Like that's your power,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is you get, does the Ethark come? That's your decision. Like,
Right.
does the troll mother come? That's your decision. Is is I don't know, is Deti in there? That's your decision. Like,
Right.
you get to decide who is in the room where the princes meet. And that's really a powerful thing. Like, it's a big deal. Like the princes don't get into the same room very often.
Right.
Um,
Right. And they're probably not accustomed to anyone but other princes being there.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. So a
um,
deviation from that will be interesting because I'm sure I
right.
will. I'm sure I'm going to bring people in that they don't expect. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you've got ancient history, right? So if you want to be like, hey, in former meetings like this, what other kind of outsiders are invited,
mhm.
we can go over that. You can make a ob for that, and you can get an idea of how it's gone in the past, and maybe get like a link test from that
I
for
feel
something.
like the vaults and I feel like the ancient history and the ancient languages skill, and by extension, which came from the knowledge in the vault, is
Yeah,
like Polara's like biggest card. Like, yeah,
yeah,
there's money in here, but like she knows things that others don't, like how to
yeah,
talk to spiders, for instance, right?
yeah, yeah,
And like the history of what's happened, because I mean that's what the vault was, is the library, and like other places, like the wheel hole has the wheel. Like nobody's contesting that the most sacred wall artifacts is in wheel like but the knowledge of the vault is amazing, and
yeah,
I think it's great that she's had this opportunity to absorb a lot of it, and it's been important. Um,
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it very much. Cool. Well, it's late. We've been on for a bit.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. This was a wild, topsy-turvy game. There was definitely times where I was like, nah, can't do this, but let's try it. And
Yeah.
I'm real excited about it. Excited to play again.
Yeah.
I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner. I just made a game that is on my shelf. I just published a game, Agon, about heroes of legend in the mists of time being lost at sea, and being challenged to find islands in the midst of strife and see if they can help the people on there and whether they can appease the gods, and who are often fickle and just as terrible as the spider gods that we just encountered, and whether they appease those gods or whether they help the people or whether they follow what they think is right, is all in the tale of their story and their glory. So it's good times, and it's available for pre-order for just a few more days before we shut the pre-order off, because it's going to be out in the real world October 5th. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's my thing. Oh, and we're kickstarting Thirsty Sword Lesbian soon, which I'm also very, very excited about, because that is a fantastic game by April Walsh, and it's the text just completed and the layout is done, and we've got some art in development now, so I'm super excited. That'll be next month. Wow, yeah. I'm looking at the date and going, oh my goodness. Soon. How about you, Judd? What's going on?
My name is Judd, he, him. I think the big thing right now is Inspiration Goat having a Twitter feed. Please go follow and give some retweets. I've got a cool Inspiration Goat table technique this week about when a character in the game first kills someone, ask them if that's the first time they've killed, and was it your first kill? What happened when you did the first kill? And I got a really I liked that idea, and then I used it in game in another game, and I really liked it, and so I really liked the answer I got. I really liked how it changed my thought on the character, and anyway, give it a shot. Let me know how it works at your table, and follow the Inspiration Goat and retweet every Thursday. The Inspiration Goat will be posting a table technique that'll probably be linked to the podcast Daydreaming About Dragons. So yeah, check it out. I don't know why it's important to me that my fictional pet mascot has Twitter followers. It makes zero sense. 12 hours ago, there was no Twitter feed, and now there is. I don't know why I like this game, but I do. By this game, I mean the Twitter game. I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway, please follow my fictional pet mascot, and that's about it. That's what's going on right now. There are other things are coming, but nothing's quite ready yet.
Yeah. That's very cool. Well, I have given Inspiration Go to follow, and I will be watching to see what wisdom drops. Thank you for making that, and I hope that Johnny Key is very pleased that that her goat imitations have created such a legacy.
Yes, it's exciting.
All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Right, you're playing Rebel Crown, is that correct?
Yeah, we're playing Rebel Crown tomorrow. Fucking A. I'm excited about that too. Yeah, Rebel Crown is a cool Game of Thrones. One of our Lauren's going to be playing the claimant, and her evil uncle has taken the throne and killed her family, and she's back in a ghost haunted world to take that back, and with her friends. And it's pretty dope. I'm really excited to play it. I'm excited to play with Strash and Lauren again. Our friend Luke is going to be joining, and Strash and Lauren and I played a Burning Wheel game called Blue Coats that was really like just forged our friendship and made us really close. Made us from like kind of positive positive acquaintances to like, oh man, we're really friends now. This is really cool, really, really close. So it's cool to go back to a Forge in the Dark game and play some swords and rebel and get some crowns and see what happens. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. So yeah. Please come join us for the first game, the first session. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about that game. Then that's 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow.
Yep.
The next the day after Sunday is the start of another game, Apocalypse Keys.
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna it's Hellboy BRPD. We're monsters fighting back the apocalypse and trying not to become succumb to our nature.
damn.
I'm gonna be playing The Summoned. So I'm excited about that. And then Monday, because on Thursday we weren't all feeling hot, so we didn't play Stars That Number on Thursday. So we postponed it till Monday. So Monday we're going to be playing some Stars That Number. So
Yeah.
lots more stuff coming on the channel. But for now, good night all. Have a great
Good night.